Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got the first of a four-game series here between the Washington Nationals and the Chicago Cubs. And leading off for the Nationals, playing left field is Tim Raines. Batting second, playing second
Vidro,
is Jose Vidro. Batting third, playing center field is Harper. Batting fourth, playing right field is Guerrero. Batting fifth, playing first base, excuse me, is Zimmerman. Batting sixth, playing third base is Parrish. Batting seventh, on the catching is Ramos. Batting eighth, playing shortstop is Cabrero. Batting ninth, doing the pitching is Gio Gonzalez. And for the hometown Chicago Cubs, leading off playing shortstop is Dunston. Batting second, playing second is Burkett. Batting third, playing third is Bryant. Batting fourth, playing right field is Sosha. Batting fifth, playing first base is Lee. Batting sixth, playing left field is Kingman. Batting seventh and playing center field is Dawson. And batting eighth, playing, I'm doing the catching, is
Barrett,
Michael Barrett. And on the mound, the battle of the lefties today, batting ninth is John Lester. Let's get down here to the game and get this thing started. See the team comparisons. Washington's off to an 0-2 start, batting 143 with a 284 on base percentage, slugging 308, and an OPS of 592. The Cubbies are 2-1, batting 271 with a 320 on base percentage, slugging 376, and an OPS of 969. And the lead it off here for the Nationals is Tim Raines, and Raines is batting 250 on the year with no homers and no RBIs. This is John Lester's first appearance of the year, and Lester is 2016. He was 19-5 with a 2.44 ERA. And here's the pitch from Lester. And that's going to be against a righty, a lefty rather. It'll be a 12 and an 8. And that's going to be a base hit in the left field. So Tim Raines is aboard down at first. Let's see how long he stays down there at first with his speed. Now you got Jose up. Jose's 0 for 5, looking for his first hit of the year. And here's the pitch to Jose. And he gets a hold of this, folks. And that ball is far. How far is it going to go? Is the wind blowing out today? That is the question. That'll be up and kiss it goodbye. Jose with his first hit of the year as a homer and gives the Nationals a 2-0 lead, just like that. Nationals get their first win up 2-0 here. Nobody out. Bryce Harper comes to the plate. Harper's batting 250. He's got a homer and 1 RBI on the year. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. So Lester bounces back after giving up the homer and gets the first out. And old Vladimir Guerrero's up batting 500 with a homer and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be back-to-back strikeouts. So it looks like they made Lester mad. He's settled down here. Now there's 2 quick outs after the 2-run homer. And Ryan Zimmerman batting 250 with no homers and an RBI. And that's going to be a pop-up down the short, and that'll end the inning. But the 2-run homer by Jose gives the Nationals a 2-run lead We go to the bottom of the first. The Cubbies will send up Dustin, Burkett, and Bryant. And Dustin is 0 for 6, looking for his first hit of the year. This is Gio Gonzalez's first appearance of the year. And in 2000, he was 21-8 with a 2.89 ERA. Here's the pitch to Dunston. But the Cubbies already down by 2, and that's a fly ball out to Guerrero. And he'll make the catch for out number 1. And now you got Burkett up. And Glenn's batting .250 with no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be against the lefty. 16, that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. Harper's got it measured and makes the catch for out number 2. And Chris Bryant comes to the plate. And Bryant's batting .500 with a homer and 2 RBIs. And he keeps it up because that ball is high. How far is this one going to go, folks? And that's going to be kiss it goodbye. Home run. Chris Bryant cuts into the lead. And the wind is definitely blowing out the left today. So it's 2-1 now as the Cubbies cut the lead in half. Brings up Sammy Socha. He's batting .364 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a double in the right field. And now with 2 outs, Gonzalez can't get that final out. A homer and now a double. Now the go-ahead tying runs down at second. The go-ahead runs at the plate. And Derek Lee, who's batting .333, no homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a deep fly ball. Rains near the wall, makes the catch. The park barely held that one. But the Cubbies score 1 on the homer by Bryant. And it's 2-1 as we go to the top of the second. You got Parrish, Ramos, and Cabrera due up here. Parrish is batting .250 with 1 homer and 1 RBI. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And John Lester, after giving up the homer, has now struck out 3 Nationals. And Ramos is up now, and he's looking for his first base hit of the year. He's 0 for 3. He's going to be 0 for 4 as that's a fly ball out to Kingman. He makes the catch for out number 2. And Orlando Cabrera comes to the plate. And he's 0 for 3 on the year, looking for his first hit. And that's going to be against the lefty. 15. And that is going to be an infield hit. Orlando gets his first hit of the year. So he's on at first. And Gio Gonzalez is up now. And Gonzalez batted .094 in 2012. His first plate appearance of the year. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound, I believe. Yep, a ground ball back to the mound. And that's going to be an E1. That's going to be a throwing error. And the runner's going to get down the third. So now we got first and third. And 2 outs. As Lester's not helping his own cause here, getting a pitcher aboard. We're back to the top of the order, and Tim Raines, who singled and came around the score back in the first. And that's going to be 12. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Base hit in the center field. Yep, a base hit in the center field. Let's see here. So that's going to score 1. And Gonzalez is going to stop at second. That's an RBI single. And they're back to a 2-run lead now as the error cost old Lester. Now you got first and second and 2 outs. And up to the plate is Jose, who homered, had that 2-run homer back in the first. Can he bust this game open with another one here, folks? Nope. That's going to be a ground ball down the second. Burkett will go the short way over to second, and that'll end the inning. But the RBI single by Raines makes it a 3-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the second. You got King Kong, Dave Kingman, the Hawk, Dawson, and Michael Barrett due up here. Kingman's batting .200 with no homers and 1 RBI. And that ball's well hit. Dave Kingman gets a hold of this one, folks. See where this one ends up at. That's going to be hit hard in the right field. Guerrero gets over quickly. With Kingman's speed, he holds him to a single. So Kingman hit the ball maybe a little too hard. So he's down at first. Got out there quickly. And now you got the Hawk, Andre Dawson, batting $167 with 1 homer and 3 RBIs. That's going to be a swing and a miss. Gio strikes him out. That's Gio's first strikeout of the game. Michael Barrett comes to the plate now, and he's batting .400 with no homers and an RBI. And that's going to be popped up down the third. Parrish calls for it and makes the catch out in shallow left. Now there's 2 outs, and it's up to John Lester, who made a costly error, help his own cause. Batted .102 with 6 RBIs in 2016. And that's going to be another pop up down the third. And again, Parrish makes the catch. And that ends the inning. And Dave Kingman's leadoff single gets stranded at first. To the top of the third we go. Got the big boys due up here for the Nats. Harper, Guerrero, and Zimmerman. And Harper struck out back in the first. He's 0 for 1. And he's going to be 0 for 2 as that's a ground ball down the third. Bryant fires over to first. And Lee makes the catch for out number 1. Here comes old Guerrero up now. He struck out also back in the first. He's 0 for 1, and that's going to be a single in the left field. I believe +1 and a 12. Yep, that's going to be a single in the left field. And Guerrero's aboard here with a 1-out hit. Ryan Zimmerman comes to the plate here. Nats are already leading 3-1, trying to add some insurance. Zimmerman is 0 for 1. He popped up to short back in the first. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Sosha for out number 2. So it's up to Parrish here to deliver with Guerrero down at first. And Parrish is 0 for 1. He struck out in the second. And that's going to be another fly ball to Sammy and another out. And the Nats strand 1. We get to the bottom of the third. It's still 3-1 Washington. Got the top of the order due up here for the Cubbies. Dunston, Birkin, and Bryant. Dunston is 0 for 1. He flew out the right back in the first. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. Harper calls for it. Makes the catch for out number 1. And now you got Glenn up. And Burkett is 0 for 1. He flew out to Harper back in the first. And that's going to be a 16. It's going to be a fly ball to center, I believe. Yep, a fly ball out to center. Harper makes another nice play for out number 2. And now it's up to Chris Bryant to get aboard here. He hit the solo homer back in the first to put the Cubbies on the scoreboard. And that's going to be 13. And that's going to be a base hit, an infield hit for Chris Bryant. He's aboard here with 2 outs now. That brings up Sammy Sosha. 1 swing and a bat. Sammy can tie this ball game up, folks. Sammy hit a double back in the first, rather. And that's going to be hit by a pitch. Yep, he's hit by the pitch. And these Cubbies aren't happy with that, folks. Now you got the tying run at first, a go-ahead run at the plate. First and second, 2 outs for Derek Lee. Derek's 0 for 1. He flew out the left back in the first. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And that'll end the inning. And the Cubbies strand too. We go to the top of the fourth. Bottom third of the order due up here for Washington. Romas, Cabrera, and Gonzalez. And Ramos 0 for 1. He flew out the left back in the second. And not this time, because that ball is traveling today, folks. That ball is high. That ball is far, and the wind's pushing it out. And Dave Kingman watches another one leave the park. And the Nats are up 4-1. Kansas City's living up to its name today. And Orlando's up. He singled back in the second. He's 1 for 1. And that's going to be a ground ball. Derek Lee takes it himself for out number 1. And Gio's up now. Gonzalez, he reached on an error back in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Burkett at second. Over to Lee for out number 2. Back to the top of the order. And Tim Raines is having a good game today, folks. He has 2 singles, an RBI, and came around the score back in the first. And that's going to be the first time they get him out. It's a ground ball down to Sean Dunston over to first. But the solo homer gives the Nationals a 4-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. You got the Kingman, Dawson, and Barnett due up. Dave Kingman, he singled back in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down the Parrish. He fires across the diamond to Zimmerman for out number 1. Hey, Clams and Stuff joins us here. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Cubbies too. They got a lot of players. I always liked the Cubbies players. Never rooted for the Cubbies, but liked the players. WGN would have came to Hagerstown before TBS. I probably would have been a Cubbies fan. Dawson's 0 for 1. He struck out back in the second. Not this time. Like I say, that wind is blowing out today, folks. How far is this one going to travel? And I don't think it's going to hold up. Nope. Kiss it. Goodbye, Andre Dawson, with his second homer of the year. Makes it a 4-2 lead. Like I say, that ball is definitely blowing out the left field today. Michael Barnett's up. He's 0 for 1. He popped up the third back in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And that'll be out number 2. And John Lester comes to the plate. Lester popped up the third back in the second. He's 0 for 1. And he's going to be 0 for 2. That's a ground ball down the short. And that'll end the inning. But Dawson cuts the lead to 4-2 with his homer. We go to the top of the fifth. We got Jose, Harper, and Guerrero due up here. Jose hit that 2-run homer back in the first. Get the Nats on the board. And that's going to be that's going to be a single in the left field. Jose's having a hell of a good game, 2 for 3. Here comes the big boys now, Bryce Harper. And Harper is 0 for 2 on the game. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Harper walks down the first, Jose down the second. And Lester's getting himself in a pickle here. In a pickle. First and second, nobody out and down by 2. Looking for a ground ball double play by old Guerrero. And Guerrero's 1 for 2. He singled back in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. Can they turn 2 on this is the question. And yes, they can. That's going to be the old 1-6-3 double play. Jose will make it down to third, but there's 2 outs now and a runner down at third. So Lester gets the ground ball double play he was looking for. Now Ryan Zimmerman's up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. And that's going to be a 12. And that's going to be a single in the center field. So he can't get out of the inning without the run scoring. Zimmerman delivers a 2-out RBI single. Gets the lead back to 3. It's 5-2. And Larry Parrish is up. He's 0 for 2 today. And not anymore because he squares this one up. And John Lester can't get that all-important 3rd out of this inning. That's going to be a single in the right field. And Zimmerman's going to stop at second with 2 outs. That brings up Ramos. And he's 1 for 2 with a homer back in the 4th. And that's going to end the inning. That's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes him out. But the Nationals score 1 on the RBI single by Zimmerman. And it's back to a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. You got the top of the order due up here for the Cubbies. Dunston, Burkett, and Bryant. Sean is 0 for 2 today. He's flown out the center and right. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Gio strikes him out for out number 1. And now you got Mr. Burkett up. Glenn Burkett is 0 for 2. He's flown out to Harper both times. And that's going to be another fly ball. So he gets the hat trick. Flies out the center 3 times. It's up to Chris Bryant here to keep this inning alive. Bryant's having a hell of a game. He's 2 for 2. One bright spot for the Cubbies today. He homered back in the 1st, singled in the 3rd. And they're finally going to get him out as Tim Raines makes the catch out there and left. And a 1-2-3 inning. To the top of the 6th we go. We got Cabrera, Gonzalez due up, and then the order turns over to Tim Raines. And Orlando's 1 for 2. He singled and came around the score in the 2nd. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Dave Kingman for out number 1. You see the team comparisons. Like I say, Washington's 0-2, 13 strikeouts, 18 walks, and 3 doubles. Cubbies 2-1 with 28 strikeouts, 9 walks, 6 doubles, and 1 triple. And here is Gio. He's 0 for 2. He did reach on an error back in the 2nd. And he gets a hold of this one, folks. That ball was hit hard down the right field line. And it falls in. That's going to be a double, a 1-out double. And Gio says, we don't need no stinking DH. In his own calls. And now you got Tim Raines up with a runner down at 2nd and only 1 out. Can Tim deliver here and drive him in and add to this 5-2 lead? Tim's having a darn good game. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI. He had an RBI single back in the 2nd. And he's got a hold of this one again. Tim Raines is on fire today. And that's going to be a double. In the left center field, just missed a homer off the ivy out there. Probably it's just the wall. A little early in the year to have ivy. So Tim Raines with a 1-out double. And letting that pitcher get on always screws you. So it's a 6-2 game now, folks. Jose's up and he's on fire too. He's 2 for 3. He's got a 2-run homer and he singled back in the 5th. And that's going to be this might be it for John Lester. Might be it because that's going to be a 12. And they are going to get it the out here. That'll be a 55 on an 8. 55 on an 8 is fielding column 2. With one out, that's going to be a pop fly to third. Chris Bryant makes the catch. And now there's 2 down. And Bryce Harper comes to the plate. And we'll let him pitch to Harper, the lefty. Harper's 0 for 2. He is struck out, grounded out, and he did walk in the 5th. And that's going to be a 21. That's going to be a fly, a ground ball down the 3rd, and out to win the inning, folks. But the Nationals get another run, and they lead this game 6-2. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, Sosha, Lee, and Kingman due up here. Sammy's 1 for 1. He has hit a double and been hit by a pitch. And that's going to be a pop up down the down the 2nd for out number 1. And Derek Lee comes to the plate now. And Derek's 0 for 2. He is flown out and grounded out. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. That'll be the 3rd strikeout of the game for Gonzalez. Here comes Dave Kingman up now. And Kingman's 1 for 2. He's singled back in the 2nd. And that's going to be a base on balls. That's the first walk given up by Gonzalez. And that brings up the Hawk, Andre Dawson. He wounds a runner down at first. They need to start bringing some of these runs home. Dawson is 1 for 2. He did homer back in the 4th. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. Now to win the inning. We go to the top of the 7th. It's a 6-2 ball game. Lester's due up 2nd. Can he get them through this 7th inning is the question. Because I hate to do a double switch with Dawson. So they're going to try. They'll have McDaniel warming up in the bullpen just to get through this inning, maybe. So McDaniel's warming up in the bullpen. Matter of fact, that's what they're going to do. They're going to bring McDaniels in to get through this inning. Get through the 7th. You got all these righties up. So McDaniel is going to come in the game, try to get through this 7th without giving up any more runs. That'll be it for Lester. So this is Lindy's first appearance of the year in 1965. He was 5-6 with 2 saves and a 2.59 ERA. He'll be facing the big boys, Gonzalez, Zimmerman, and Parrish. And Guerrero's 1 for 3. He did single back in the 3rd. And that's going to be a 17. That's going to be a fly ball out the left field. Kingman makes the catch for out number 1. And Ryan Zimmerman comes to the plate now. Zimmerman's 1 for 3. He had an RBI single back in the 5th. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes Ryan out for out number 2. And now Parrish comes to the plate. He's 1 for 3. He singled back in the 5th. And that's going to be back-to-back strikeouts. Lindy does the job. We get to the 7th inning stretch. It's 6-2. Washington. Alrighty, you got Michael due up, a pitch hitter for Lindy, and then back to the top of the order. And Dunston. Gio's pitching a hell of a game here, folks. And this will probably be his last inning of work. He's due up 3rd. See if he can get through this 7th inning. And Michael's 0 for 2 today. Not anymore, because that ball is high. How far is this one going to travel, folks? kiss it goodbye. The wind carries this one out. And now it's a 6-3 game. Michael cuts the lead in half to 3. That'll be it for Lindy. Pitch hitter for him. See who's going to come off the bench here. And Hickman's going to come off the bench. See if he can get on board here, Jim Hickman. And Hickman's batting 1,000. He's 1 for 1 on the year with a homer and an RBI. Let's see if he can do it again, folks. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. Guerrera's out there at 35 and a 2. That's going to be fielding column number 2. And that's going to be a single in the right. Guerrera can't quite get to it. And all of a sudden, Gio's having trouble here in the bottom of the 7th. And Hickman's aboard. He's a perfect 2 for 2 on the year. That's going to get the bullpen up now. They might, if they have to bring somebody in, they might do the old double switch. Let's see who they would bring in here. I don't think they got, don't matter. They don't got a lefty in the bullpen, so it will be a righty. If they do a double switch, well, they might not do a double switch. They might bring old Terminator Jeff Reardon in just to get through this inning. So Reardon's getting ready in the bullpen. Dunstan's up. And Sean is 0 for 3. As David joins us here. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Said he just started an Apba basic card and dice season. Very cool, bud. Yeah, Digital Diamond. I love using this as a onboard game companion. Yep. And here's the pitch to Sean. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Parrish, I think. Nope, that's going to be popped up behind home plate. And Mr. Wilson Ramos makes the catch for out number 1. And Glenn, try it again. There we go. And Glenn comes to the plate. He's 0 for 3 today. Hickman's still down there at first with 1 out now. That's going to be a fly ball out to Guerrera for out number 2 as he gets to this one. So it's up to Chris Bryan here to cut into this lead a little more. Bryan's 2 for 3 with a homer back in the first. That's going to be a 12. That'll be a 9. And 9 against 8. And that's going to be a single in the left field. And Hickman's speed, he'll stop at second. So Gio's not out of this inning yet. As Mr. Sammy Sosa comes up, and one swing in the bat, he could end this. He could tie this up, and I think Reardon's coming in the game now. Reardon's going to come in and pitch to Sammy. So that's going to be it for Gonzalez. Reardon's only job is to get Sammy out here. So, in comes the Terminator, Jeff Reardon, as Ken Castro joins us here. And Jeff Reardon's going to come in. And this is Reardon's second appearance. He has no record and no ERA. And Sammy's 1 for 2. He has doubled in this game. And that's going to be a Swing and a miss. Jeff Reardon strikes him out. And that ends the threat, but the solo homer makes it a 6-3 game as we go to the top of the eighth. Bottom third of the lineup due up. Let's see who's going to come in here and pitch. John Elston's going to come in here. Try to keep this a 3-run game. This is his second appearance of the year, and he has no record and no ERA. He'll be facing, like I say, the bottom third of the lineup here. He's got Ramos, Cabrera, and a pitch hitter for Jeff Reardon. And Wilson is 1 for 3. He does have a homer back in the fourth. And that's going to be a rare play, a 38 and a 44. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. Brian's down there. A 31 and a 4. 31 and a 4. That's barely column number 2. That's going to be a single. Brian can't get to it. That's a single in the left field. So Ramos is aboard here. And that brings up Cabrera now with 1 on, nobody out. Let's see what Cabrera can do here. With the Nationals already leading 6-3. Orlando's 1 for 3. He singled in the second. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Dawson in center for out number 1. Now we'll have a pitch hitter here for Reardon. Let's see who's going to come off the bench here. And Juan Soto is going to come off the bench. See if he can add to this 6-3 lead. Juan's looking for his first hit of the year. He's 0 for 3. Ramos down at first, 1 out. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes him out for out number 2. And Tim Raines comes to the plate now. Raines is having a great game. He's 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Sammy. And the Nationals strand 1. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 6-3 Nationals. See who's going to come in the game here to pitch. Let's see here. I think Tim Burke's going to come in here and try to close this out. They got one hell of a bullpen, the Nationals do. That's for darn sure. You know what? Let's go with I'm rethinking this. I don't know.
Urbina.
We're going to go with Urbina. Is going to come out. He hasn't pitched yet this year, so he's going to come out. Should be his first appearance of the season. And in 1998, he was 6-3 with 34 saves. He'll be facing Lee, Kingman, and Dawson. And Derek's 0 for 3 today. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He comes in right away and strikes him out, folks. Can't ask for more than that. So swing and a miss. That brings up Big Dave Kingman now. And Kingman's 1 for 2. He's singled back in the second. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Harper. 2 quick outs here in the 8th. And the Hawks up now. Andre Dawson, he's 1 for 3 with a homer back in the 4th. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. He strikes 2 out of 3. We go to the top of the 9th. The Nationals hanging on to a 6-3 lead. Jose, Bryce, and Vladimir's due up. Jose's 2 for 4 with a homer and a single. And that's going to be against the righty 19. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. Fires over to first for out number 1. Here comes Bryce Harper up now. And Harper's 0 for 3. He did walk back in the 5th. And he gets a hold of this one. Harper trying to add to the lead here. And that ball is driven in the right field. Hit it too hard probably. Sammy gets over there quickly, cuts it off. Holds Harper to a single. Here comes Guerrero now. And Vladimir is 1 for 4. He's single back in the 3rd. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. 54 and an 8. That'll be fielding column 2. And with 1 out, that's going to be a pop-up. That's going to be... That's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. He's going to go to the short, get the lead runner. And now there's 2 outs for Mr. Zimmerman. And Ryan's 1 for 4 with an RBI today. And that's going to be a base on balls. So now it's 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. And up to the plate now steps Mr. Parrish. And Larry's 1 for 4 today. And that ball is high. And this ball game is over, folks. That ball is out there in left field. And we know what that wind does to that. That's a 3-run homer, 9-3. Turn out the lights. This one is over. Things just come to an end. Just like that, it's 9-3. And here comes Wilson Ramos. He's 2 for 4 with a homer. And that's going to be a 19. That's going to be a fly ball out left field. This one stays in the park. Too little, too late. We go to the bottom of the 9th. It's a 9-3 ball game. Bottom part of the order due up here. Michael Barnett, a pitch hitter, and then back to the top of the order. Michael was 1 for 3 with a homer back in the 7th. And he hits it again, folks. Kiss it goodbye. And the Cubbies said, what? Turn out what lights? There's no lights to turn out here in Wrigley Field. So that ball's gone. Makes it a 9-4 ball game. And let's see who's going to come off the bench here. The Cubbies need some base runners, trailing by 5. And the bull's going to come out. Dorm's going to come off the bench here. Pitch hit. Try to get on base. You see the Cubbies' upcoming schedule. 3 more games here in Chicago against the Nats. Then the Mets come to town after that. And the Bulls batting .429 with a homer and 2 RBIs. That's going to be against the righty. 24. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Guerrero for out number 1. Back to the top of the order and Sean Dunston. With 1 out and nobody on. Dunston's 0 for 4 today. And that's going to be a 39, a rare play. 39 and a 25. And that's going to be hit down to short. See what happens here down the short. And that'll be fielding column 1. And that's going to be a nice play down there by Orlando. He fires over to first for out number 2. And the Cubbies are down to their last out here, folks. Can Glenn Burkett deliver? He's 0 for 4, so he's due if you're a Cubbies fan. And he is due. That's going to be a base hit in the right field. This game's not over yet. I believe it is, though. And now you got Chris Bryan up. The runner down at first. Bryan's one of the bright spots in this game for the Cubbies. He's 3 for 4 with a homer back in the first. And that's going to be popped up behind home. Nope, that's going to be a walk. That the old W bites him in the ass. All of a sudden, now with 2 outs, the Cubbies are making some noise. And here comes Sammy. He can make this an interesting ball game here. Like I say, I just don't see the Cubbies making a full comeback here. Sammy's 1 for 3 with a double. And he must make this game interesting. See how far this ball travels, folks. Kiss it goodbye. Sammy Sosa's just hit a 3-run homer. And all of a sudden, folks, it's a 9-7 ball game. Out to the plate steps Derek Lee. Cubbies don't like me telling them this game's over. Derek Lee's up now. He's 0 for 4. Can he keep this game alive? And nope, that's a lazy ground ball down the second. That'll end the game. But the Cubbies make it interesting after I called them out for being dead. Let's take a look at this box score. He's trying to make a nice comeback to score 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. How important was those 3 runs in the top of the 9th? At the time, I thought it was just icing on the cake. Ended up being important. So the Nats 9 runs on 14 hits and no errors. The Cubbies 7 runs, 11 hits and 1 error. Tim Raines had a 3 for 5 ball game. You had Jose 2 for 5 with a homer. Parrish was 2 for 5 with a homer. Ramos was 2 for 5 with a homer. Look at that. The Nats were 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Still left 7 men on base. Look at old Chris Bryant, 3 for 5 today. And the Cubbies was just 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Bryant, Sosa, Dawson, and Michael Barnett with 2 homers in the game. Like I say, the wind was definitely blowing out. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homers in this game, folks. A total of 8 homers. Cubbies were only 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They also left 7 men on. Geo goes and pitches 6 2/3 innings, picks up the win. 8 hits, 3 runs, walked 1, struck out 3, gave up 3 homers. Reardon comes in, pitches a third of an inning and 1 strikeout. Uriban gets the save, 2 innings. It wasn't Purdy. 3 hits, 4 runs, walked 1, struck out 2, and gave up 2 homers there in the ninth. John Lester drops to 0-1, 6 innings. He just didn't have it, folks. 11 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Walked 1, struck out 4, gave up 2 homers. Lyndon McDaniel comes in an inning and strikes out 2. Don Elston, 2 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, walked 1, struck out 1, and gave up a homer. Take a look here at the standings and the leaderboard. And the Mets are half a game in front of the Braves. Marlins and Nationals are now a game and a half back. Phillies 2.5 games back. The Pirates are half a game up on the Reds and Astros. And the Brewers, Cubs, and Cardinals are a game back. And out west, the Giants are a game up on the Diamondback and Dodgers. San Diego's a game and a half back. And the Rockies are 2.5 games back. Chris Bryant leading the National League with a .600 batting average. And Barry Bonds with 6 homers and 9 RBIs leading the National League. Of course, the ERA leader is going to be at 0. John Rucker with 2 wins. And you got 3 pitchers, Craig, Dave, and Bruce with 2 saves. And Barry Bonds leading in MVP voting. And John Rucker's leading in the Cy Young. I want to thank David for stopping by, Ken Castro. And the next game will be the second game of this 4-game series. And it looks like El Presidente, Dennis Martinez, is going up against Fergie Jenkins. Game number 2 of this series on the 4th of April. Alrighty, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders, and on your way out, hit that like button and leave a comment. Till next time, y'all have a great day and take care.